I hope I would be audible to every one of you. A very good afternoon to all of you. This is Mayank Kumar Panchal. I work as an assistant manager, strategy and growth at KBS Certification Services Limited. And to give you a little background about me, I was born and brought up in Delhi, and I've completed my BTech from Delhi Technological University with a major in environmental engineering. And to give you a quick background about KBS, so KBS was founded by Mr. Kaushal Goyal back in 2005 as a management certification body. And KBS was the first Indian company who got the accreditation from UNFCCC back in 2011 to validate and verify the carbon offsetting project. And till date, we have validated and verified more than 2,500 plus projects across the globe. And KBS has the accreditation, or you can say the approval to validate and verify the carbon offsetting projects under which carbon credits are generated. So we have the accreditation from various major registries and standards like BERA, Gold Standard, GCC, International Carbon Registry, Coal CXR Carbono, Social Carbon Registry, Biocarbon Registry, and various other registries under which carbon offsetting projects are being registered to generate the credit. And KBS is also accredited by NABCB, Indian Accreditation Body, for ISO 14065 and ISO 17029, ISO 14064-1 and -2. And KBS is also a licensed partner with Accountability UK for providing the sustainability assurance. KBS is also involved in the trainings, and we also provide lead auditor courses, Z certification, ISO 14064 trainings, and KBS also helps companies in preparedness of their BRSR reports, sustainability report, ESG reporting, life cycle assessment. And KBS is also expanding its business to help companies to get CBAM ready, which is a tax which has been imposed by the European Union on the product which are being transported over there. So these is the entire gamut of services that we provide. So this was a quick introduction about KBS and what we do. So let's start with today's discussion of our topic, demystifying the BRSR core. So basically, why we are talking about BRSR today? What is the reason behind it? And why it has become so important in the recent time? This is a big question. So let's start with our next slide then. So the genesis, science sounds the alarm. So it all started from back in 1990 when Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released the first assessment report in 1990, which confirmed that climate change is something real and the temperature of Earth is increasing and it is projected to increase by 0.3 degrees Celsius every decade if and the immediate international cooperation is required to take these kind of action to mitigate the climate impact. And on the basis of that, the first Earth Summit happened in 1992, which was the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, in which three legally binding agreements came into the picture, like Convention on Biological Diversity, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and also the Convention on to Combat Desertification. So among this United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, one of the major that came into the picture and came in full force in 1994, in which countries decided that they will meet every year in different part of the world and will talk about climate change. Thereafter, first meeting happened next year, which was the conference of all parties that we gave COP1, COP2. So COP4 happened in Berlin in Germany, COP2 happened in Geneva, then COP3 happened in Kyoto of Japan, which was the in which the Kyoto Protocol came into the picture. And Kyoto Protocol admits that the current situation of the climate change is because of the industrial development of the developed countries of the basically 150 year of the industrial development of the countries that they have done, but also accept the common but differentiated responsibilities, and puts more pressure on the developed countries than that of developing country. And there were several ideas and new mechanisms that came into due to this Kyoto Protocol, like the international emission trading, which is carbon trading or emission trading. This allowed countries to trade emission unit to achieve their targets. Then CDM, which was like a developed country can finance uh, a project for a renewable energy project in the developing country, and a developed in the joint implementation program, a developed country can finance a renewable energy project in a developed country. And then it was also basically to own the companies of the countries, because if a country has to meet the target, it will apply the rules, regulation, and standard to the countries of the to the companies of the country. So the Kyoto Protocol came in full force in 2005, and it has the two commitment period between 2008 to 2012. The second was 2013 to 2020, which was supposed to be followed by the Paris Agreement, as CDM is now under transition as per Article 6.4. In between, the COP21 happened in Paris in November 2015. Before that, in between, in September 2015, UNG adopted the, like, United Nations General Assembly adopted the United Sustainable Development Goals, calling upon the global fraternity to advance and accomplish the Sustainable Development Agenda by 2030. And so there are only 5 years remains to the deadline, and hence it's a race against time. And the international fraternity has braced up for the definitive action. So these all things became responsible for developing the, like, ecosystem, ESG reporting ecosystem across various countries. And we won't be talking about this session. This session won't be happening if there won't be this acceptance of this sustainable goals by the UNG. And then in 2016, Paris Agreement came in full force, which was ratified by the countries. In Paris Agreement, countries came up with their uh, nationally determined contribution, in which they gave what kind of idea and what kind of uh, work they are going to do to tackle climate change. And more focus was on the sustainable development as well. So there comes the BRSR. So BRSR is basically a tool that is enabling India to achieve its commitment towards the sustainable development. And the purpose of the BRSR is to achieve the standardized ESG disclosures. And you can carefully analyze all these 17 SDGs that they fall in one or more domains of E, S, or G. And people also talk about, like, what is and like why sustainability matters, why we are talking about this, because climate change, social inequality, and governance failures are the pressing global issues, and it ensures the whole long-term well-being of both the people and the planet by promoting the balanced resource use and environmental protection and social equity. So this is the reason why sustainability matters. And basically, sustainability report is a structured disclosure of companies' ESG impacts, risk, and opportunities. It builds the trust with the stakeholders, investors, and customers, also the employees. So there are various kind of standards are there that are into the picture, like global standard on the ESG reporting. So there are various standards on which the ESG reports are prepared. Like the GRI is one of the most widely used standard for sustainability reporting. GRI provides the comprehensive guidelines for companies to disclose their impact on the environment, society, and governance. And there is one more, like SASB, Sustainability Accounting Standard Board. It has the industry-specific guidelines for particular industry, which focuses on financially material ESG factors for different industries. And SASB standards are more like detailed, tailored for investors looking for ESG risks and opportunities of the company. Then there is also TCFD, Task Force on Climate Related Finance Disclosure, focuses especially on the financial impact of the climate risk and opportunities. And it also provides framework for the companies to disclose their climate related risk strategies and governance practices. There is one more important international standard is there, which is IIRC, International Integrated Reporting Council, which promotes the integration of financial and ESG information to give a holistic view of company value creation over time. And then there is, because of all these are standards, there is only one more standard which is India's standard. Like BRSR Core is one of the standard, and it is basically an ESG framework that is created and designed by the SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, to enhance the ESG reporting and promote sustainable business practices among listed entities or companies in India. BRSR are, and subsequently BRSR Core are relatively late entrants into the sustainability ecosystem, and therefore all the good practices, key performance indicators from all the standards like GRI, SASB, TCFD, UN SDGs, IIRC, and from other frameworks have been duly incorporated into BRSR. And now, like, it's not like we are talking about this ESG thing, elephant in the room, when when it's in the room. We've been talking about ESG reporting since long, and something like it was started in India in 2009. by the name of CSR in India, when India's Ministry for Corporate Affairs published Corporate Social Responsibility Voluntary Guidelines, recommending that all businesses formulate a corporate social responsibility policy. Then there comes the National Voluntary Guidelines. In 2011, the guidelines were superseded by the expanded and more detailed National Voluntary Guidelines on social, environmental, and economic responsibilities of business. Then there comes the BRR mandate. SEBI mandates top 100 listed companies by market capitalization to file business responsibility reports BRR based on National Voluntary Guidelines in 2012. And SEBI extend BRR reporting to top 500 companies by market capitalization in 2015 and further release it for the 1,000 companies by market capitalization in 2019. Then ESG disclosure guidance came in 2017, where SEBI issued notification for top 500 listed companies to voluntarily adopt integrated reporting. Then in 2018, the Bombay Stock Exchange published a guidelines documenting on ESG disclosure, a more modern and comprehensive set of voluntary ESG reporting recommendations informed by a global sustainability reporting framework. Then there come in 2011, the NVG formulated the National Voluntary Guideline on responsible business conduct in 2019. Then after that there comes the BRSR. In 2020, Ministry of Corporate Affairs has recommended a new reporting framework, which called a Business Responsibility and Sustainability Framework (BRSR) that will be mandated for the top 1,000 listed companies by the market capitalization and unlisted companies to that they can report voluntarily. Then we will talk about the BRSR reporting structure, like how the BRSR reporting structure works. So basically, there are three sections in the BRSR report structure. Section A, which is general disclosure, in which the general information of the companies are disclosed by the company. In the management process, the company's conduct and policies are mentioned by the company. And then the principle wise performance, like 9 principles of the NGRVC, they are captured with a detailed manner. So slide by slide, I will explain you more about these. Like we can start from section A, which is general disclosure. So basically in general disclosure, the objective of this this section is to obtain the all basic information about the company, product, services, their operations, name of the company, location of the company, what is the size of the company, how many business units of the companies are there, is there any subsidiary and associated companies are there, any joint ventures of the company, and manpower of the company, number of employees are there, how many are on payroll, how many are on contractual basis, what is the gender diversity in the company, and how many members are they, like what is the gender diversity in the board member of the company, and their average salary per male, average salary per female. These all are covered in the general section, and like all kind of CSR activities, transparency and disclosure compliances are covered in this section. And additional disclosure on proximity of companies operation to environmentally sensitive sites, like such as the protected areas and water stress zones. So these things are also captured in the general disclosure. So their key highlights of the section are reporting boundary. If a company choose to report the standalone or consolidated basis, then it should be kept consistent across the whole report. It should not be changed. And then employee information that I told you that needs to be covered. Then materiality. As per the global accepted methodologies, companies are expected to report on material risk and opportunities identified by them. They are also expected to report on financial implication of identified risk and opportunities. Then, if there are any grievance redressal mechanism in the company, companies are expected to disclose this as well in place across various categories of stakeholders, including value chain and value chain partners and community. So they expected to disclose data on number of complaints received and resolved in current year, in previous year, maintain those data. This all things are covered in this section. Then comes the section B, which is section wise disclosure point for the section B, which is management and process disclosure. So in this section, the company is required to disclose information on policies, management, processes, governance, leadership, and oversight. So this section is basically aimed at helping business demonstrate the structures, policies, management processes put in place, and towards adopting the NGRVC's principal and core elements. The ultimate purpose of this section is to understand whether the company has the building blocks in place to that will enable the and ensure the responsible business conduct. That is something that's the main crux of this section. And the key highlight points of this is section are the entities, the companies, policies are expected to cover each principle, its core element for the NGRBCs with translation into necessary procedures and public disclosure. This implies policy gap assessment, which is must, and name of the national international codes, certifications, labels, standards adopted by the company and mapped into each principle. That is something catch in this section. And also disclosure specific commitment, goals, targets set by the entity with definitive timelines, if any, with respect to principles along with the performance assessment of the same. Entities may disclose whether goals and targets are mandatory or voluntary. And companies are also expected to carry out independent assessment evaluation of the working of the policies and procedures by the third party agency. Here comes us where we can help you, as this is the third party agency and this is something our forte. Also disclosure on the involvement of leadership and procedures in place for decision making and the sustainability related issues. Then there comes the section C, which is the one of the biggest section in the BRSR report, which contains several information. Like in this section, the company is required to disclose that how a company is performing in the with respect to each principal and core element of NGRBCs through the specific key performance indicators. Like this section classifies KPIs into two subcategories: essential and leadership. Essential are mandatory, and leadership that are not mandatory. Those are voluntary and provides an opportunity for companies to present their impact and outcomes. So there are 9 principles which are mentioned, like integrity and ethics. The second is sustainable products, then employee well-being, stakeholder interest. Fifth one is human right. Sixth is environment. Then seventh is regulatory policy. Eighth is inclusive growth and customer and IT. So these principles are covered in the section. And like in integrity and ethics, it is related to like companies are expected to disclose if they are conducting any training and awareness in the company for the like to foster a culture for of compliance and accountability. And if there is any conflict of interest involving like transparent reporting of conflict in that can involve between the directors and senior managers to uphold the trust, and to disciplinary action taken on any documented penalties for misconduct, the deter unethical behavior, any penalty and punishment that are there, any publicly sharing business practices to build stakeholder confidence, openness of business. Then second principle, which is sustainable product, like companies are expected to disclose the sustainable sourcing, prioritizing eco-friendly raw material to reduce environment footprint in the company. Any reuse, recycle, and disposal, circular economy practices to minimize waste across product life cycle. If companies carrying out the life cycle assessment of their product, and investment on the ESGs technologies like funding innovations like clean energy to for future proof operations, basically. And if employee well-being policies are there or not, like companies are expected to disclose if there are any insurance or retirement benefit policies for the employee, and equal opportunity policies prioritizing diversity with a fair hiring or career advancement practices within the company. And the grievance redressal mechanisms are there or not, because the for the robust system to address a workplace concern and swiftly and fairly. And any health and safety policies are there or not, incident reporting, transparent tracking of incident to drive continuous improvement, so that are there or not, spending on well-being, investing in mental health, fitness, and work-life balance initiative has been taken by the company or not. And stakeholder interest, like how many frequency of the engagement with the stakeholders, and if the company is identifying the stakeholders which are marginalized and vulnerable groups and helping them or not. And collaborative uh, like dialogue to align with business goals with the stakeholder needs that are being done by the company or not. Human right policies are being followed, like trainings and on human right, wages remuneration, assessment on human rights, complaints and redressal mechanism, gross wages paid to the female, like closing gender pay gaps through the transparent salary structures. So these things are, and if there is any post policy, zero tolerance on harassment with prompt action and confident redressal should be there. for the human right. Then there is environment and energy consumption, monitoring and reducing the fossil fuel dependence through the renewables, and moving towards the sustainable energy, renewable energy by using less coal-based energy and reducing their footprint to for the environment benefit. And like how the water withdrawn and discharged by sanitation and treatment, how like if there is any there are companies using the water through primary, tertiary treatment or secondary treatment, and business continuity plan like climate resilient strategies to mitigate environmental disruptors. Also, intensity calculation, eco-friendly metrics are there, like energy per unit output to their progress. Any regulatory policies are there or not, like affiliation with trade, or it is affiliated with trade and industry chambers, and detailed and anti-competitive conduct are there or not, and publicly policy advocated, like publicly like supporting laws and align with the sustainability goals. Inclusive growth are there or not, like procurement policies, benefit CSR projects are being run by the companies funding towards ISR, corporate social responsibility project, and the social impact assessment, job creation in a smaller town by the company. All these things are measured in the inclusive goal. Also, if the company is promoting Make in India, like materials which are used by the company for their product and services that should be made in India, focus to strengthen the domestic value chain in India. And also, if there are any customer and IT related things are there, like cybersecurity for the data breaches, for the data privacy, company is like resolving grievance promptly, customer complaints, and empowering users with knowledge for safe, informed choices. So these are also kept. And now let's move to the next slide. It was quite long slide. So the key difference is between BRSR and BRSR core. This is a general question which is asked by like why, what is BRSR and what are the difference between the BRSR and BRSR core? So basically BRSR you can say is a bird view, like the comprehensive ESG disclosure. However, in BRSR core, it is focused on material and investment relevant metrics. In BRSR, there used to be 100 plus question, which used to be qualitative and quantitative. However, in BRSR core, there are 9 KPIs, all quantitative. And assurance for BRSR used to be voluntary, but it is mandatory under BRSR core. And the purpose of BRSR was to holistic stakeholder transparency. However, in BRSR core, it is investor grade comparable data should be there. Applicability, BRSR was applicable for top 1000 listed companies, but BRSR core is now applicable for top 150, and which is phased expansion are there. Then it will be applicable for 250, and the rest of the companies are there, like which are listed in the 1000, because BRSR is mandatory for top 1000 listed company. So why there is a split? Why there is a split? That's a question that comes. So because investor demand BRSR core and provide comprehensive, reliable, and standard data to ESG investing decision to make their like investment decision and all, and global and alignment also to match the standards like IFRS and EU CSRD to cross-border comparability. BRSR basically core provides a comparable data and assurance, also credibility to claim emission reduction to reduce greenwashing. Like we can give an example like for the BRSR, a company describe its water conservation policy and share annual water usage data. However, in BRSR Core, the company discloses exact cubic meter of water consumed, percentage recycled, and provides an auditor report to certify the numbers that are correct or not. It's like if I say someone asks me, like if I'm a listed company and someone asks me, like where do I live? If I say I live in Delhi, so in BRSR Core, I'll be mentioning I live in Delhi. But when I'm covering BRSR Core, I will have to mention in which street, in which municipality, in which city, in which state, and in which country I'm actually living. So that's why BRSR Core is called the subset of BRSR, which is having broader in terms of broader value. And let's come specific to BRSR. So there these attributes used to be there in the BRSR as well, but in BRSR core they have the more quantifiable data that can be measured or that can be verified by the third party agency that have been included in this, like change in the GHG footprinting, like scope 1 and scope 2 emission and their intensity. For the intensity, there are specific formulas are there in the BRSR report that on the basis of that it can be calculated. And companies also go for the ISO 14064-1 and prepare their inventory for on the basis of -1 and prepare the report and get it validated and verified to get the level of assurance for the GHG emissions of the scope 1 and scope 2, like direct and indirect emission the company has done. And change in water footprint, like water consumption and intensity, water discharge by sanitation and level of treatment, whether it is primary, secondary, or tertiary, how many percentage and intensity of the water which is being consumed, the change in the energy footprint, like energy consumed and intensity, percentage of energy consumed from renewable sources, from other sources, from fossil fuel, all this needs to be captured like very specifically in the BRSR core. And embracing circularity, like break up waste management across various categories which are being there, which are there in the company. And waste intensity, like whether company is following the reduce, reuse, and recycle parameter or not, employee well-being and safety, amount to spend on employee well-being initiatives by the company, health insurance, daycare, maturity benefits, etc., and details of safety-related incident that is covered in it. And then gender diversity, like percentage of wages paid to the women, and number of complaints on the post are filed, and and that data needs to be maintained as well. And then inclusive development are there node like MSME sourcing, and opportunities creation in small town for the benefit of the small town people as well, who needs to be bring up in the society. The fair engagement with customer and suppliers, number of days accounts payable, and percentage of breached or cycle, or basically the cyber security events involving breach of customer data, openness of the business, the loan and investment made related to the parties. So these things are captured. So when it comes to the changes, what are there in the BRSR and BRSR plus BRSR core, in which was there in 2021, and the new BRSR, which is 2023, which contains the BRSR plus BRSR core. So if you have gone through the section as I've explained you on the above slides, so in general disclosure, the under the details of the listed entities have part one. There used to be 13 questions, but now there are 15 questions. Two questions more have been added, like number of like name of the assurance provider and type of assurance obtained by the company. And also the essential for the principal one, there used to be essential indicators like seven, but now the essential indicators are nine. Two additional questions have been added, like number of days of accounts payable and openness of the business. That is something added. There is no change in the like principle three in BRSR plus new BRSR, but in principle three, essential indicators, question one, question two of subset question, and there was no mention of contract workers. However, in this new BRSR, essential indicators, question one has three subset, three question, spending on well-being of employee workers for safety related indices and incidents, and question 11 detailed related to contract workers also need to be included in it. And then again, in principle four, there is no change. And for the principle five, the essential indicators used to be 10, and now these are 11. So separate question on post complaints that have been added now, additional requirement under question three, details on remuneration, salary and wages, gross wages paid to the female employee as per percentage of total wages. That is something captured in it. And also in the principle six, essential indicators used to be seven, and leadership indicators used to be nine. Essential are mandatory and leaders are voluntary, as I explained to you earlier. Hope you remember. Intensity calculation for energy, that is main thing that was not used to be done earlier. Emission and water consumption was not captured, but in now intensity of the water discharge by desanitation, level of treatment are covered. Intensity calculation for energy emissions and water consumption and water on three parameters, like per rupee of turnover adjusted for purchasing power in terms of physical output. And also waste intensity calculation is also asked on the three parameters, energy source bifurcation, also renewable and non-renewable shifted from leadership to the essential question also captured. And also like there is no change in the principle seven in the new BSR and old BSR. However, in the section eight, there used to be seven essential indicators, but in section eight, there are essential indicators are five, like job creation data as per location newly added, which is newly added. And in question four, material source from same district and neighboring district is replaced with source from India. And at the last, within the principle nine, in essential indicators used to be six and leadership indicators used to be five, but In the new BRSR, like the BRSR plus BRSR core, as I am telling you again, there are seven essential indicators and leadership indicators are four. In the question five, leadership indicators, which was on details of data breaches shifted to essential indicators now. Also, what are the BRSR core reporting challenges and opportunities which are there? Like when a company is preparing BRSR report, they have they have to face the challenges and they have to face the opportunities also. Like the challenges can be like alignment of different function within the organization. Like considering a big company, like we can talk about ONGC or any oil company, which can have the any one corporate team, one plant team. They will have several subsidiaries, where several branches can be there. So collecting the data from all the branches, from all the plants, from all the people, that is something becomes a challenge. Aligning value chain parameters, also one of the challenge. Data collection and collation, which is one of the major challenge to prepare the BRSR, because that is something you need to be, if any data which is missed by in any of the organization branch, then it becomes difficult to prepare the BRSR report for the company, and also the creation of new processes, procedures to monitor and capture currently unavailable information becomes a big challenge for the company. And also establishing new policies, procedures, processes, and mechanisms, which currently might not be practiced in the organization, but can be in the future. And also adapting to such procedural changes evolved out of changes, addition in the basic structural policies, any like current immediate financial implications of the moving to the sustainable value chain could be high. Also opportunities can be there, like once the BRSR report is prepared by any company for one particular year, and it becomes better coordination between different functions within the organization, and it helps in the developing the better value chain within the company. And sustainable and reasonable value chain can be developed, as I mentioned, which becomes a opportunity. And insights into actual operations, everyone becomes aware about what is happening in other department, and they have the proper data with them. And fourth is the better control and availability of quality in data, better management of risk and opportunities. And it is easy for the company to identify their material issues for the future prospect, which can help them to get the investment in the later stages when the the ESG report or report is ready with them. And to be the leaders among the best by setting the example and be future ready, because ultimate goal is to become net zero for the companies. And then investment in the value chain creation, this becomes the opportunities for the companies who are preparing the BRSR core. Then a typical BRSR core implementation approach, this is one of the like thing which is like glide this is the glide path from strategy to action. This is what used by the SEBI. So this is something that is done to prepare the BRSR core, and this is something where we can help you out. Like there are how you are tracking, keep a watch, monitoring development in BRSR standards as it continues to evolve and update client own relevant changes, assess readiness. We can help you out in that as well. We can help you in tracking data as well. We can help in preparation of your matrix, and we can help you in preparation of your reporting. So this is something that we can do for the company. If you are a listed company, we can help you preparation of your BRSR report. And if we don't do all these four things, we can, and also we can help you in the like your we can help you to become assurance ready. And if your report has been prepared by any other entity, we can help you in assurance as well, because this is something our forte, and we've been doing this ever since our inception. So we can help you in assurance of your BRSR report. We can help you in preparation of your BRSR report. We have the data, we have the people, we have the subject matter expert who can help you out in preparation of your BRSR report and make you a better company in the among the top listed companies of the India, and can make you a better company basically. And if I move ahead, then BRSR core implementation requirements, like reasonable function leaders at XPLU, like there should be coordination among the various branches, various departments within the company located in the various branches of the company. Because if you are a top 1,000 listed company, definitely you would have several branches of your company within the particular name that company is having, like sustainability and CSR team, investor relations team, and accounts and finance team, human resource team, compliance and legal team, operations team, data and cybersecurity team, administrator team. This all have a common, they come to a common place, a common page that they have to collect the data on the basis of which the BRSR report is supposed to be prepared. Then identify the specific point of contact. The report content can be discussion with the functional leads and teams on disclosure of in BRSR, identification of key data point, discussion on calculation methodologies around KPIs like attrition or emissions, etc. Any establishing weekly, fortnightly cadence on progress and challenges. Then report finalization, that is data collection checklist and consolidation of data, preparation of final report, and closure of discussion and of gaps. And then like the BRSR core and value chain implementation, timelines and disclosure for disclosure and assurance. So this is like BRSR used to be mandatory for top 1000 listed company in 23 to 24. Then it is mandatory for the company. BRSR core became mandatory for the companies for the financial year 2023 to 2024. And now the reasonable assurance for, or we can say the assessment for the BRSR core KPIs is mandatory for the top 150 companies in the year 23 to 2024. In now for the financial year, it is mandatory for the top 250 companies for the financial year 24 to 25. And it will be mandatory for top 500 companies for the next financial year. And for the financial year 26 to 27, there will be thousand, all the thousand listed company will have to get the reasonable assurance of the BRSR core report. And this is something where also we can help you. If we have prepared your BRSR report, then definitely we won't be help you out to get the assurance of your BRSR report. However, if we have not prepared your BRSR report because of conflict of interest, we can do the assurance of your report for sure. And the value chain disclosure for BRSR core KPIs, uh, which will be mandatory from the next year for the top 50 companies, 250 companies, and also next year for the 250 companies as well. But limited level of assurance it will be mandatory for the value chain disclosure for BRSR core KPIs for the top 250 companies in the year 26 and 27. And thank you so much for listening and being here with us and getting this session. And I would be happy to help you if you have any kind of question. And I believe I would have received some question from your end. So let me now go back to the slide and let me see the question so that I can help you out. So, okay. So the question that I've received, that what is the major difference between the ESG report, ESG ratings and BRSR? So ESG report basically is a report like environmental, social, governance aspect of the company. It is related to that. BRSR is something which is mandatory for the 1000 listed company in India, and now the BRSR core is also going to be mandatory, and for which the companies will have to get their BRSR core ready. However, ESG reporting can be done through various standards. Like it can be done through the uh, various standard that I told you earlier, like global framework. Like it can be done through GRI, SASB, TCFD. These all standards can be used for the ESG reporting because these are international standards. And even BRSR is also accept the references from all these standards within the BRSR report. But BRSR report, if you are under the 1000 listed company, it becomes mandatory for you to prepare the BRSR report. It cannot be like you are not preparing it. But when you talk about ESG ratings, like there are various ESG rating agencies are there. Like there are Bloomberg, CDP reporting, DJ, Dow and Jones are there with reports on S&P Global, on the basis of which you will prepare like get you the ratings. ESG ratings basically, I will say it's not mandatory. It basically help companies in the to get the investment from the various companies. If you want the investment, you will go for the ratings like the Moody ratings and other ratings, Bloomberg rating. It's not mandatory, but if you want the investment from the various investors, you should go for like the ratings. This is the major difference that we have. Okay, the question is, what are the benefit of BRSR core disclosure? So benefit of BRSR core disclosure are that BRSR, it will help you in identifying the material issues within the company. It will help you out in the like your what are the environmental, social, and governance impact, opportunities, and risk within the company. It these are the major thing that will help you out in BRSR. And also it increases your brand equity. Next question. Okay, the how KBS help companies, that's one of the question that we have received. So basically KBS do reporting. KBS is involved in the ESG reporting. We have done some assessment last year, and we have won some bid to do some BRSR reporting for this year as well. KBS do the ESG reporting. KBS also provide the assurance of the BRSR report on the BRSR core. As we are third party entity, we have this experience that we can help you in the assurance of your BRSR report, and we can also help you in the preparation of your BRSR report. However, because to avoid any conflict of interest, we also provide assurance on BRSR, but we cannot prepare in case we have prepare your BRSR report. And we also do the ISO GHG audit. Yes. All right, these are the major questions that we have received. This is something that we do, and this is all about this presentation about BRSR and BRSR core. And if you have any kind of query, you can contact me on my number, which is visible on your screen, and you can reach out to us directly through our website. You to know more about KBS, you can go to our website, and if you have any kind of query, you can write us directly through the email info@kbscertification.com. And as we all know, we would be happy to help you out as KBS is known for business sustainability. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in. It was a great session to be with you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.